Lisa, I just want to let you know that you're awesome. It's been a pleasure to be in partnership with you, over the last couple of years. Just to let you guys know how lucky you guys are to have a relationship with Lisa, and I'm blessed as well. She's a great person. She's a great mom. She's a great wife. She's a great daughter. She's a woman of faith. She's a woman of integrity. And the sky is the limit. Wherever she goes, whatever she does, she's going to do great at it. I'm just lucky enough to be in business with her, doing what we do as well. So a little bit of background, kind of 2 minutes about where I came from and how I got here. I started in the restaurant industry. I was 18 years old. I was a dishwasher, became a busboy, became a waiter, became a bartender, got into corporate restaurant management. I managed some nightclubs, some mom and pop places and things like that. And I woke up and I was 33 years old all of a sudden. And I had found out and realized I'd been working my tail off for somebody else my whole life, building their dreams while I was getting paid hourly and salary, putting a price tag on myself. I had this bright idea to open my own restaurant. So in 2012, I got into negotiations with a gentleman that, I used to work for, who was selling his place. Negotiations went on. It was going to end up costing me about $750,000, which I didn't have. I was going to have to borrow to buy my business, if you will, almost buy myself a job. For whatever reason, many different reasons, the restaurant deal fell through. And I was back to running restaurants and bartending. It came kind of full circle. At the same time, a good friend of mine named Chris, who is also a restaurant manager, started working with our current company part-time. I asked him about what he was doing. I was very, curious about what he was doing. He said, we help people, win the money game. I go, show me what you're doing. If you can help me out, I could probably lead you to a bunch of different clients. So when I got started, I was a client. I basically, recruited myself into the business, if you will, and the rest is history. 6.5 years later, we have a few different offices. I went from making $50,000 a year managing a restaurant to almost $300,000 a year right now, and the sky is the limit. And I'm lucky enough to be in partnership with people like Lisa, people with like minds that want to help a lot of people and don't mind making a lot of money. So my parents were one of those traditional American families that has been left behind by the financial industry. Nobody ever taught my parents about money. Matter of fact, my parents used to fight over money quite often, meaning pretty much all the time. And most couples don't fight because they have too much money. They usually fight because they don't have enough. Financial strain became difficult. Eventually my parents ended up divorcing, when I was a senior in high school. And there was always this stigma about money, and I never knew how to manage it. My parents weren't great with it. But when I was introduced to this company, when I sat down with Chris and my mentor, Cash, they showed me how to do the whole thing. I had goals and dreams that I never thought I would achieve. And, I had a bunch of debt. I had credit card debt. I had a credit card that was a 25% APR. I had student loan debt. I didn't know how to get out of that. It just seemed like I kept putting money towards it, but it really wasn't going down. And I didn't have anything saved for emergencies. I remember having to put tires on my credit card, at 24%. And I didn't have anything set up for retirement. Working in restaurants, especially for smaller places, they don't really have anything that's decent set up for you. So they helped me with all of it. They helped me get out of debt. They helped me save for emergencies. They helped me save for retirement. They helped me protect myself with insurance. And I never even thought about that stuff before. But you realize as time goes on, as you get older, you really do need that stuff in place if you're going to have a solid financial plan. And I was forever grateful, and I'm grateful to this day that they sat down with me and helped me. And guess what? They did it all for free. Unbelievable. The crazy part is when I learned all this stuff, when I started getting out of debt, when I started saving money, when I get some of these insurance products, I would go to work and I'd ask some of my friends if they had the same stuff, and they looked at me like I was speaking a different language. As a matter of fact, they kind of laughed at me like, retirement, I'm never going to retire, right? And a lot of people don't think they can do it. And I asked them about if they knew about some of the products that I'd purchased and things like that, and they had no clue, and it was a big eye-opener. There's so many people out there that don't have access to good financial advice, and that's what our company does. I mean, my friends didn't know how to save tax-free. They didn't know how to save at all. they didn't know how to get out of their debt. They just kept paying and paying and paying. Hopefully they paid enough to where it was gone at some point. They didn't have, if some of them had insurance, right? They had the old kind of insurance, right? They didn't have the new kind that has living benefits and things like that on it, which is, it's crazy to think. Insurance is like cell phones, right? There's some insurance policies that were sold in 2000 that are completely different than the ones they're selling today. If you would have had a phone from 2000, it might have been a flip phone. Now you get a supercomputer in your hand. So it's completely, the game has completely changed and much for the better. But I'm very, very grateful I was introduced to this company. I was able to be helped by the products and services that we provide. So when I had talked to some of my friends about coming into business with me, obviously I was excited. And I'll be honest, most of them laughed at me. Right? They said, what do you know about finance? You could never help anybody. You admitted that you had all this debt and you didn't have anything saved in the beginning anyways. And but there's a lot of people I've met throughout the years that I knew that could be very, very good at this business, and now that I'm about 6.5 years in, a lot of them said no at the beginning, but now they're starting to think differently. And a lot of them are starting to reach out to me because they're realizing that they need a spare tire for their income. One income doesn't cut it anymore. A lot of people are getting laid off, especially with the things that are going on right now, and they don't have a backup plan. We provide that. We have a profit sharing referral program for people. We have people that can come on part-time. They can work this around their schedule. And there's also a brokerage training program for the ambitious people. If they want to open an office, we can put them in that program and they can be on the fast track to opening their own office one day. But it's an awesome opportunity. When I first started, I was like, what's the worst that could happen? I go ahead and get my background with the company. I've got a lifelong quote-unquote gym membership for finances, and it would last me a lifetime. I've learned so much. Even if I never made a dime in this business, the amount of money that I'm going to save on taxes and all those other things paid for itself a million times over. So with that being said, I love doing what we do. It's a great, great business. I've helped so many different people. I've retired my mom. I met my fiance. I've met some of my best friends in life. But if you are interested in working with Lisa, I think it's worth a listen. It may not be for you. You may not be for us. One thing to remember, ladies and gentlemen, is that not all home-based businesses are created equally. We just happen to be in the financial industry, which is the highest paid industry in the world. If you take the financial industry just in America, it's a $63 trillion industry. To put it into perspective, if you took retail and real estate, combine them together, the financial industry is twice the size of both of them combined, which is awesome, and it's a great opportunity. It's a great business. If Lisa were so inclined to, sit down with you and talk to you about it, I think it would be worth it to give it a listen. When I talk to some people about our business, and some of them may or may not be interested, the ones that aren't, I ask them, what part aren't you interested in? Is it the helping people part or making a lot of money part? We're in the highest paid industry. Money's great. The satisfaction you get with helping all these people, you feel good about what you do. And it's really cool that we have no quotas and we can bring on part-time people when they start, so they don't have to leave their job and they don't have to sell somebody something they don't need to keep their job. So it's a very flexible, unique opportunity in the highest paid industry in America, and I think you should probably take a look at it if Lisa were so inclined to talk to you about it.